Welcome back to the fourth and possibly final season of the series, where I've been getting the squad ready to finally cement our place as the best team in the South Coast. Yes, welcome back, and as you can see, looking at the top right hand corner, it is the 13th of September. I know it's only the first episode of the season, but usually I do all my business early. We get to deadline day and there's nothing to do. What I thought I'd do is I'd get the squad all prepared, get the transfer done, and get the squad ready, and let's get into the season. So first thing to know in regarding what's happened this pre-season is we've been kicked out of Fratton Park on a temporary basis, and we are currently playing at the Southampton Community Arena. As you can see here, capacity of £40,000. So we are now on a week-to-week basis playing our biggest rival's backyard. It's not the Southampton Stadium that they play in, as much as I'm aware, but it is in Southampton. So, and the reason for this is because if you look, obviously, just down there, is we are due to add 10,000 seats to Fratton Park, which is due around basically in a year's time. So we were kicked out of Fratton Park so they can make this 10,000 seat expansion, which is all well and good. However, if we remember rightly, the finances weren't great in the club, and to add the extension on to the stadium, expansion, is only just going to incur more money that we probably don't have, on the hope that we stay in the Premier League. So hopefully that doesn't cripple us too much. Although looking at the changes we have had to make, it didn't do too much for us. Didn't do too much damage, but then we didn't have much to work with in the first place. So just looking at the financial situation after the transfer window, as you can see, we are slightly over wage budget, but also we had to keep cutting down the wage budget. I have had to use some of the transfer budget to transfer to the wage budget in order to sign some of the players. But at one point, we were having to cut back another £100,000 on the wage budget, even though we'd stayed in the league. So now we are looking at, by far still, the worst wage budget in the entire league. And obviously, we've got to try and build a team capable of doing more than scraping relegation to deal with on that wage budget. And obviously, we've got to build a squad capable of fighting more than just scraping relegation on a reduced wage budget. But let's not waste any time. Let's get into it and let's find out what transfers in and what transfers out. And let's have a look at the state of the squad and where we are in the league as of 13th of September, just before we're about to play Manchester City. So the first transfer out of the club, and it was one that was really, really, really poor management on my side, is I was massively unaware that Mark Travers had an £800,000 release clause in his contract. As you can see, he's already worth 9 to 10 million. I had no idea he had an £800,000 release clause in his contract. Burnley came in, as why wouldn't you, for this quality keeper at that price. Release clause paid. Mark Travers didn't want to save, and out of nowhere, absolutely had no intentions of replacing my goalkeeper. I had to try and replace him, and we lost Mark Travers to Burnley. And you may have your own opinions on who I chose to replace him, but the guy now between the sticks for Portsmouth is Ethan Horvath. I brought him in from Cincinnati, previously of Luton. Brought him in for a package of £6 million. I know that seems a bit steep, but it was what was needed. I still think overall, 3-star, solid player. Except nothing too fancy, but aerial reach, commanding the area, communication, one-on-ones is a big one. You know, handling the ball, reflexes, rushing out, all these very, very, rushing out tendency may not be great, but all these very, very good keeper stats for a goalkeeper. And he's 6'5", so he's a big guy. Maybe he's not the best with his foot, but yeah, we ain't Manchester City, so let's not worry about that. And also to back him up between the sticks, as our other number 2 that we had, the youngster, also left, is I brought in Carl Darlow, who, to be fair, he could be our number 1 at the level that we're at, almost just as good as our number as Horvath. But he was brought in as a number 2 between the sticks, £98,000. I mean, seems a bit daft not to, really, doesn't it? Really, really cheap. And a really good experienced keeper between the sticks. We also sold Todd Kane to Peterborough for, I think it was around 190,000. He wasn't really playing and he didn't want to be here anymore. So we got rid of him. And other outs this season is the man for the big moment, who's looking like possibly again could be a bad sale, but I didn't really probably made the most of him, and that was Vogelsammer, the guy for the big moments. I mean, 9 goals, 9 probably big goals. That's all he scored. Obviously, we went and sold him and got his wage budget off. Got his wages off the budget. A 1.7 million. Bearing in mind I brought him in on a free transfer. I think you could argue that's a pretty good turnaround. And also, we finally got a loan for Charlie McNeil to Wickham. We also, any more importantly, Joe Lumley was the third keeper, so we got rid of 3 keepers in this transfer window. Joe Lumley was that third keeper who went out to Fulham. So I was quite happy again just to get his wages off the books. We then sold Sean Raggett to Coventry. I think that was around 275,000. Again, brought in on a free transfer, made some money off him. Yes, he's a good centre back, but he was playing less and less for us. And at his age, I thought I'd get some money, and mainly we needed him off the wage budget. Other important sales was George Saville. Again, if you want to call him an important sale, he also went to Peterborough. Again, it was more about getting off the wages. Plenty of central midfielders, and we weren't really playing him. As you can see at the bottom right hand side as well, Jack Byrne also went to Oxford. He's gone on loan. No one want to buy him. And also Greg Doherty has also gone to Peterborough. Apparently Peterborough are a big fan of our players this summer. Not that I can blame him, I guess, for the level. So that was multiple midfielders in. And the first thing we did is we went and got a midfielder from Brentford. We went and bought a Brentford midfielder in Shandon Baptiste, who instantly got injured when we brought him in. So I'd love to say how he did so far in the very, very early stages of the season, but he instantly got injured, and I don't have a clue. But I think he's a solid signing for when he's not injured. Only 7k a week, so again, saving on the wage budget, less wages than the likes of Saville and Doherty. Fantastic all-round, solid player to play in that middle, box to box, probably playing as advanced midfielder, depending on the formation, but definitely in that middle and can be quite creative, but more importantly, it's a solid signing. Then we went and improved the attack, and absolutely out of nowhere, an opportunity came up to sign Anthony Elanga. Yes, it is that Anthony Elanga from Manchester United. We were able to bring him in for around £5.5 million, which I think was fantastic for the deal. Obviously, he's definitely more of an inside forward, looking at his crossing ability, which isn't very good at all. But he's fast, he's got good stamina, strength is a bit to be desired, but down that left-hand side, or even the right-hand side, and also as a backup striker, he's strong, he's fast, he's pacey. I thought we'd like a bit more direct and get some pace into this team. So I think that was a pretty marquee signing that we were able to bring in someone like Anthony Elanga into the club. And for such a small fee of 5.5 million, I mean, it's safe to say he's already worth 3 times that already. I'm hoping this one does pay off. It is a gamble, because obviously there's a reason why Man United didn't want him anymore. But hopefully it's to our benefit. And then we went and brought in Jordan Hackett as our new starting left back. And already he has become the player of the month in the league, or the young player of the month in the league in his first month for ourselves. I mean, again, he's a fullback, but he can also play as a wing back. Crossing ability, dribbling ability, decent at marking, decent at tackling. Obviously, he's got good composure, good strength, good stamina, good teamwork, good vision, good work rate. I mean, I think there's not much more you could ask for in a fullback, but it seemed like a no-brainer to bring him in for, what was it, £1.6 million. Starting left back, and with him being only 21-year-old, he's still got plenty of potential to go into. And then since we had obviously lost most of our striker, with Vogslammer going, Dane Scarlett going back, who will not be returning this season, as you can see there. We went and brought in a striker from Newcastle on loan called Duran. Don't know much about him. He's played in Chicago in the past, but we have only brought him on loan because he has a 3.5 star, nearly 4.5 star potential. 21-year-old. Again, 6'1", strong, good finishing, good work rate, good determination, big, strong striker. And as you can see, we're not playing any wages. I think we're playing a loan fee, but we aren't playing any wages. Fantastic player to stick up front and to massively improve that strike force. And also to improve the strike force, we brought in a bit of experience in Neil Maupay from Reading. Reading did get relegated, so we're able to bring him in for something like £2 million. Pressing forward, strong. Again, bravery, strong. Big. Last say he's a big guy. He's only 5'7", but he's strong. Good work rate. Hard-working striker, which is what we need in our teams. Hard-working striker and a half-decent finisher. We then went and improved our defence with the free transfers of both Mason Holgate and Levi Colwill, who, which surprisingly, especially with the media hype around him in real life at the moment, was an absolute coup to bring him in on a free transfer. Surprised to got him in. Probably was one of our highest end centre-backs now, but absolutely worth it. So with the additions of Holgate and Colwell, both to play in the centre-backs, and one can cover at right back and one cover at left back if needed, I thought this is an absolute coup. And again, only 22-year-old, alongside with Hackett at left back, who's 21-year-old. All of a sudden, we get some really, really decent players, all at a young age. So long term, this club is looking healthier. And then just probably going for your left field signing. One I wasn't really looking at, wasn't really planning, but this one turned up at the doorstep. I took a look and managed to bring him in from Lille on loan. We've got to bring Timothy Weah. Obviously, in real life, he's linked to some rather big clubs. But for some reason in the game, maybe things haven't worked out as well. So he's now just decided to join for the season. Portsmouth on loan, which is absolutely fantastic for us. And with all that being said, let's have a quick look at what our starting 11 and bench looks like. Now, we have Toffolo again fighting with Hackett on that left-hand side. We've got Castagna still as our main right back. And the centre-back battle is very, very, very difficult with Corwell, Holgate. We've also got Lascelles in there. And we also got Lacaviti, who's still kicking around. Horvath is our number one goalkeeper, but Cardallo could take over him maybe. And in the central midfield, we've got players like Smallbone, Baptiste, Gibbs White. We've still got Matt Grimes. We've still got Miranda. And in the attack on the left-hand side at the moment, we've got obviously Duran in there, the lad on loan from Newcastle. Timothy Weah on the right. Archie up front. Yes, Archie is still managing to start for us and doing well. But obviously, we can't forget about the additions of Anthony Elanga. We also got Brennan Johnson down there and Fujimoto, who has been injured recently, and Linger, who again I tried to sell, but I couldn't get him out of the squad. But nevertheless, I think as a squad and the depth of this squad, I think we are already in a far better position than we were last season. I think I've improved from almost every position. I think I've improved the team. And I think, if I'm honest, the first 4 games of the season maybe suggest that I was right. I mean, we've got a long, long, long way to go yet. But look at that. First 4 games of the season, 8 points already. 4th in the league. I mean, we won't worry about that. But we've already got 8 points in the league. And how did we achieve that? I mean, starting from pre-season, we haven't lost once. We've won almost every single game. And in the league, obviously, we drew with Birmingham. That was the first game of the season, which had me worried. But then we managed to absolutely batter Brighton. So that's one of those rivals put back in their place. And a draw with Leicester. Went through Derby County. 1-0 win over Burnley. And then we've just had a friendly against Red Star. And we're just about to play Manchester City. So as much as we've probably had a fantastic start to the season, probably not going to see a victory in this episode. I mean, we'll give it our best, but why not? But let's be realistic here. It's Manchester City. It's Manchester City. Oh, and just one more piece of business. You guys might think I'm absolutely stupid for doing this, but Brentford, I think, were that determined to sign Brennan Johnson. I ended up having to turn down a £35 million offer plus add-ons for Brennan Johnson. And it started off at about 20, but they kept coming back. Even on deadline day, they kept coming back. But quite frankly, he's our star player at the moment. He's absolutely flying, creating, scoring goals already, doing really, really well. And I know you could replace well with 35 million, but I want to achieve our target this season. So I'd rather have the player in form now than replace him with a player who hopefully would work for us. So just before we get into the game in just a moment and we confirm the starting 11 for this game, as you can see, we have made a slight tweak to the formation as well. We've definitely gone more direct. Obviously, we've got them passing into space. We've got to play for set pieces. And we've got the run at the defence. Don't worry about passing too much. I mean, obviously, you want to pass and play well. But let's be direct. Let's get straight at it. And we've got highlighted in the formation 2 inside forwards, left and right. Almost playing as a free, pushing up, attacking to support him, but coming from further deep. And we're playing very, very narrow. So pull it in, attack. With Fujimoto in the middle there, he's also going really well in his position. I think that first season has done him well. Miranda and Gibbs White in the middle. Again, there's justification for people like Will Smallbone, Matt Grimes to be in there. But that's the whole point. That's the great thing about this team now, is that competition. And for this game, I've chose to do our player of the month, or young player of the month in Hackett, with Colwell Lascelles for the experience, Castino at the right back, because quite frankly, he's the only main right back we have, and Horvath in goal. Let's not waste any time. Manchester City have kicked off the game. Let's see if maybe we can salvage something from this game. I know it's only a minute in, and I'm not acting very positive, but when they've got Kimmich, Haaland, Foden, Silva, Maddison, and De Bruyne in their team, I think you've got to be realistic as well, haven't you? First highlight of the game, 12 minutes in, Manchester City, and they nearly score, but they didn't. And you guys will see I have added a few things. I've added a face back into the into FM finally, and also a logo pack so all the Premier League teams have their nice fancy proper logos, except of course is it Man UFC they're called on here these days. Obviously they're not added in, but I'm not too worried about the one team. The only downside about the face back, it's a really, really great face back, but it's a little bit old. So some of the players' kits on their obviously on their stats are a bit old, but nevertheless, I think it's better to see a picture of someone, of the player you're looking at and want to sign, than constantly just that black screen, even if it is an old photo. See City on the attack now, and there we have it. There's goal number 1 by Phil Foden. As you see, Bernardo's ran through our midfield, the midfield that I said we had depth with. Maybe I did pick the wrong one. That right-hand side completely left open. And a fantastic goal by Manchester City and Phil Foden. I'm not going to do anything too much yet. I mean, we haven't had a single shot. So I might have to sacrifice a bit of the direct play. But I know we have it in us. I mean, there's... Exhibit A, Anthony Elanga. That's straight direct. We ran at them from right to left. Everybody running at them. Committing the defenders. But then, obviously, if we then go and just give the ball away like that, I mean, I don't really know what to say. We're just not really helping ourselves, are we, with this? Nevertheless, it is only 1-0 after half an hour. And okay, maybe I don't want to talk too soon. Yep, it is only 1-0 after half an hour. And it's not been too bad. I mean, I am committing very attacking in this game, which maybe I shouldn't be in away at Manchester City. But we're not expected to win it anyway, so let's just go for it. Let's just go for it, see what happens. I mean, we're 5 games in. We've got an entire season to go yet. Our ambition is not Manchester City. I mean, I will only watch this for so long, though, rather than just letting... Can we do anything with this? Maybe I need to have us shooting a bit more. Elanga, he does call a lot. What? Oh, that was interesting. Oh, I mean... I'm not even surprised. We almost score in 5 seconds later, and Haaland got it in the back of the net. Fantastic ball, straight through. Absolutely tore us apart. What can you do? I mean, obviously you could do better than that, but sometimes it is what it is, isn't it? Well, there we have it, guys. It is half time. We did manage to crawling at 2-0. I mean, I think it's just damage limitations now. Maybe for the sake of this game, I'll just run the defence off. I think we're going to play rather direct. Hopefully they will. Hopefully we can maybe get some balls over the top. I'm thinking maybe we drop back a little bit. Get some long kicks, just get the ball up and hope maybe, who knows, maybe we can salvage something, but let's just see what happens. As I said, this is probably not the best game to start the season for with, especially because I know I came back rather late in pre-season, if you want to call it that, to introduce season 4, but I thought it best to just get the squad established and in place. So we all know where we're at. We all know what squad we've got to deal with this season. Hopefully you guys are impressed with the additions I've made and improving the squad, which I think I've improved it a lot. Maybe not the best game to show you, but this was the first game after deadline day. So this is the one we're going to play, and this is the one we're all going to have to suffer through together. Let's just do shoot on sight. Why not? Maybe we can bang a few long distant goals in. You never know. So we are just highlight after highlight for Manchester City, corner after corner. They're absolutely all over us. Maybe I go balanced and don't commit as much forward. Maybe the mentality is just calm down a bit. But here they are with another corner. I don't really want to speak too much. So I think we've defended well, considering we're getting absolutely battered. You know, we are still 2-0 down. I mean, if this is any consolation. But I just think it's time to make some changes in there. Why not get Baptiste on? Hopefully he can not get injured again. His match sharpness is down. But what a good time to get him on, and hopefully he can make a difference in this game. Gibbs out with the ball. Alanga, he hasn't really shown much, but gets a bit like that. That's probably a perfect example of the sort of thing he's been doing. He does a lot more cutting inside at the moment. Ooh. I am aware that the camera's probably looking a bit dark today. The lighting's not very great today, and the more I look at it, the more I'm realising it's pretty terrible for myself today. So I do apologise about that, guys, but you're not really here to see my face, are you? You're here to see me suffer, I think. I think it's time to make a change again. Make a few more changes, more for the sake of fitness as much as anything. Bring on Holgate at the back and Neil Maupay up front. I know it says Lange has a bad game, but I think considering what he's got to deal with, I don't think it's been that terrible. Ooh. I mean, it's certainly nothing to put me off. I mean, I know we've been well beaten today. I mean, there's no point arguing that, but I think need to wait till the end. I think that considering how defensively poor we were, and yeah, we improved a little bit last season, but I think the team last season probably gets a proper hammer in here today. Doesn't defend well. Maybe the keeper, admittedly, is probably a little bit better than it was this season. Well, there we have it, guys. 2-0 defeat to Manchester City. I did say it wasn't going to be pretty, but then it wasn't that horrible today, was it? I mean, there's no point. There's not much to explain. The ratings weren't very well. Only 2-0, though. They absolutely battered us. But I think we do have to pick our battles in this season, and Manchester City is not one of those battles. But as long as you win the most important games, and as long as at the end of this season, most importantly, we finish above Brighton since they're back in the league, and we finish above Southampton, and we complete our mission to cement our place back as that best team in the South Coast. That, at the end of the day, is the thing that matters more than anything. So where that leaves us, guys, after that game is we're no longer in the Champions League places, so maybe we need to worry a little bit there. Obviously, not get European football could be damaging for us this season, especially not getting that top 4. But nevertheless, we've got another 33 games to go to get those European places again. I mean, One can dream, can't we? One can dream. But nevertheless, guys, that was a nice summary of season 4, episode 1. Tell me in the comments down below what you think of the transfers I've made. Tell me how much of a mess up you think I've made with the Mark Travers deal, and whether you think my transfers were good, bad, whether Alanga is going to be a star. I think he's going to be a star for us. Him on the left with Brennan on the right, Brennan Johnson. Let me know if you feel like I should have accepted £35 million for Brennan Johnson. And if I should have done, who would I have brought in the meantime? And also, guys, let me know what you think of the series so far. Let me know what you think of the episode. And let me know how you think we could get on this season. Do you think we're finally going to complete our mission? Or do you think I'm going to be sat here saying season 5, let's give it a go again and making more transfers that I don't need to make? Well, thank you very much for coming out, guys. If you do like the episode, give the episode a like and subscribe to the channel. It does help me out massively. Thank you guys for coming out to watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.